is electric flux. The number of electric field lines crossing given area and that area kept normal to the electric field lines is known as the electric flux. This is a scalar product and this is represented by the letter phi e. Then unit is Newton meter square coulomb to the power of -1. Suppose if you take a point Q charge, all the sides there are number of electric lines are there, and near the field lines we have to take one surface A and another surface at a distance that is B, and in this nearer surface the electric flux is maximum and the distance surface as electric surface is lesser, because in this surface A more number of electric lines are crossing, therefore electric flux is maximum. In this at a distance the B surface has a lesser number of electric field lines are there, therefore the electric flux is minimum. Already we know that the surface which is nearer to the charge electric field is more, and surface is distance means the electric field is a lesser value. And next we will discuss about electric flux for the uniform electric field. Here there are three cases. In the first case, the electric field, uniform electric field is there, and this is a surface, and this is known as the normal vector n cap. This is electric field, and this normal vector is a perpendicular to this surface. Therefore, the electric flux phi A equal to EA. And in the second case, for that uniform electric field, the surface we are taking which is parallel to the electric field. Parallel to the electric field means n cap is in the center, that is it is a right angle triangle position. Therefore, the phi B value equal to 0. And in the third case, there are uniform electric fields are there. This surface is at an inclined position. In inclined position, this is a normal vector, and when we are resolving the theta value, here E cos theta and E sin theta value is there. Sin theta value is cancelled, and we are considered only the cos theta value. Therefore, the flux value phi c is equal to E cos theta A. When we rearrange it, it is EA cos theta. This EA cos theta, when we consider for the first case cos theta, here theta value is 0, therefore cos 0 1, so phi A equal to EA. And for the second case, theta value is 90, cos 90 0, therefore QB equal to 0. And next we will discuss about a non-uniform electric field. So suppose if electric flux we will calculate in the non-uniform electric field, the total flux QE equal to E1 bar into del A1 bar plus E2 bar into del A2 bar and so on, plus En bar into del An bar. So the total value of the electric flux summation I equal to 1n Ei vector del Ai vector. Generally we can write the flux phi E is equal to integral of E vector into dA. It is clear that the given surface depends on both E on surface area and the orientation of the surface with respect to the electric field. And next topic is electric flux for the closed surface. Suppose if you take a closed arbitrary surface, here the electric field is entered, the arrow mark is here, and inside the dotted lines I am drawing, and the outer side there is a electric field which is leaving out, and the normal vector is n cap, this angle is theta, and here the normal vector is like that, the angle is theta, and here this angle is less than 90, so that the normal vector means the vector which is perpendicular to the surface, therefore it is known as the normal vector. And the general formation of electric flux phi is equal to integral of E vector into dA vector. but it is a closed surface. Therefore, we have to write phi is equal to integral of closed surface E vector into dA vector. Here there are three values of the flux. One is positive, another one is negative, and third one is 0. When it is positive means, suppose the theta value is lesser than 90, the flux value is positive. If theta value is greater than 90, then the flux value is negative. When theta value is 90 equal to 90, therefore the flux value is 0. Suppose if it is the entering line, electric field lines entered into this, always it is a negative because theta value is greater than 90. When the line leaving from the surface, arbitrary surface, here it is a plus value because the theta values less than 90. This is known as the electric flux for closed surface. And next topic is Gauss law. Suppose if you consider plus q is a charge. Here there is an imaginary surface. This is known as spherical Gaussian surface. Here I will draw some of the lines, electric lines. This is electric field we have to take in the direction, and the n cap is also in this direction, and take a small surface, that area is dA. Here there is a electric field and then the normal vector is there. The angle between E and N is equal to 0 because both the lines coincide each other. Therefore, the total flux phi is equal to closed integral of E vector into dA vector. So that this can be written as integral of E dA cos theta. Here theta value is 0, so cos 0 equal to 1. So this is changed as E dA. And phi a equal to E, you take it out, so integral of dA. So here the integral of dA equal to 4 pi r square because the spherical surface area is 4 pi r square. And next the electric field equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. Therefore, phi a is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square into 4 pi r square dA value. Here 4 pi is cancelled and r square is cancelled, so we can get phi a is equal to q by epsilon naught. This is known as the Gauss law. This Gauss law is only valid not only the spherical surface but also all the surfaces. Suppose if you take a plus q, this is an arbitrary surface, it's a random surface. Outside, suppose a1, a2 surfaces are there. So whatever the arbitrary surface, the Gauss law is valid. That is, phi is equal to q enclosed by epsilon naught. Now we can see the statement of the Gauss law. If a charge q is enclosed by an arbitrary closed surface, then the total electric flux phi e through the closed surface is phi e is equal to closed integral of E vector into dA vector, which is equal to q enclosed divided by epsilon naught. And next we can see some important points of the Gauss law. Here the total flux phi is equal to closed integral of E vector into dA vector equal to q enclosed by epsilon naught. Here the phi depends on q which is present inside the surface. Suppose if you take q is inside and q1, q2 outside, the phi value always depends on this q only, because the q depends on the point which is present inside the surface and it is independent of the charges present the outside surface. Therefore, phi which is independent of the surfaces. And next is second point is total electric flux is independent of the location of the charge inside the closed surface. Next, third point. Suppose if you take this is a plus q, outside there is a Gaussian surface is there. This is the imaginary surface is called the Gaussian surface. The shape of the Gaussian surface to be chosen depends on the types of the configuration of the charge, and the electric field is spherically symmetric for the point charge. Therefore, the spherical Gaussian surface is chosen. Suppose the cylindrical and planar Gaussian surface can be chosen for other kind of charge configuration. Here the fourth point we can say take the formula phi E is equal to closed integral of E into dA, which is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. And here this is LHS side, this is RHS side. LHS side, the E value, that is due to charge present both inside and outside of the Gaussian surface. But here Q enclosed, this charge denotes the charges which lie only inside of the Gaussian surface. And next, fifth point, the Gaussian surface cannot pass through any point charge, but it can pass through continuous charge distribution because the E is not well defined. And last, sixth point is the Gauss law is another form of Coulomb's law. Suppose if you take according to Gauss law, phi E is equal to closed integral of EdA equal to E enclosed by epsilon naught. Here closed integral means it is summation and dA means it is a small area dA. Therefore, EA equal to Q1 by epsilon naught. This is a Q1 and this is a R value and this is a surface, Gaussian surface. E into 4 pi r square, the area of the spherical surface, equal to Q1 by epsilon naught. Therefore, E equal to Q1 by 4 pi r square epsilon naught. Suppose if you take two charges Q1, Q2, the distance is r. At the point Q1, the electric field equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 by r square. But the force acting due to point charge Q1 equal to EQ2. Therefore, force F is equal to Q1 Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. This is known as the Coulomb's law. So, Gauss law is another form of Coulomb's law, also applicable to the charges in motion. So, Gauss law is treated as more general law than Coulomb's law. And next, second application of Gauss law is electric field due to charged infinite plane sheet. Consider this is one plane sheet, the uniformly positive charge which is spread over on the surface, and here we can take a point P at the distance r from the center, and opposite side take a point P dash from center r, and these two surfaces we have to take a imaginary cylindrical surface, and both the sides we can take a small area, and this small area E and n cap value are in the same direction, so theta value is 0 for both the sides. And at the top surface we can take one area. In this element electric field is in this direction and n cap is in this direction, so in between the theta value is 90. Now we can take phi value, phi E is equal to integral of closed integral of E into dA. This E dA we have to divide it into three groups, that is first a curved line, so curved surface, and P side and P dash side, the EDA value we write it. We know that EDA equal to EDA cos theta, so we can write EDA cos theta value for curved surface and P surface and P dash surface. And here first curved surface cos 90 value is 0, and P and P dash side cos theta value substitute theta value 0 means that is EDA we can get it. Therefore, the total value phi E is equal to 0 plus integral of P EDA plus integral of P dash EDA, and 2 EDA we can get it, 2 you take it out, so EDA this is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. By Gauss law we can take the values, and the E value is constant, so 2E take it out, integral of P into dA, which is equal to the charge density, surface charge density is sigma, so sigma A by epsilon naught. Therefore, here 2EA equal to sigma A by epsilon naught. After taking integration, the dA value is changed as A. So, both the sides AA cancel, we can get E equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught, but the vector value E vector is equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught n cap. N cap is a unit vector which is normal to the plane. And some observations made for this second application. First one is the electric field depends on sigma and independent of the R value. Second, the electric field is directed perpendicular away from the plate when sigma value is greater than 0. Suppose the sigma value less than 0 means the E value is directed inwards to the plane. E equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. This is valid only for infinite plane. Suppose this is a finite plane means and the approximate value is true, we can take the midpoint of the values from the top and bottom surface. And next topic is applications of Gauss law. Under this, the first we have to discuss about electric field due to infinitely long charged wire. Here we can take one long charged wire. Here the plus charge is uniformly distributed from top to bottom, and here we can consider the point P at a distance r from the wire. And on the surface of the charged wire we can take a small charged element, that is A1. In the down also another charged element, that is A2. Connect A2 to P and A1 to P at the same distances. Now the electric field we can extend here, this is E, and another electric field is here. The resultant electric field is in this directions. Like in the opposite direction, around we can draw one circle, and this point is Q, and here we can join A1Q and A2Q. Then the electric field is extended in this direction. For this line electric field is here, therefore the resultant electric field is in this directions. So this is the diagram. Now here the electric field E is seen throughout the circle wherever the circle is present, and this is consider the cylindrical symmetry around the infinitely long wire. So consider a cylindrical wire, and this cylindrical wire, a charged cylindrical wire, and this height we can consider L equal to H, and a point P we consider at a distance r from the this wire. And next we can calculate the total electric flux we can calculate. So this is known as the small surface. The electric field is in this direction. This is a vector form n cap, and here theta value is 0. Top and bottom side we can consider a small element, and the electric field n cap which is identified here, and the theta value is 90. Now the total electric flux phi E we can write, which is equal to integral of closed integral of E into dA, and separately we can write the curved surface, top surface and the bottom surface. Therefore which is equal to integral of curved surface E vector dA vector plus integral of top surface E vector dA vector plus integral of bottom surface E vector and dA vector. Here E dA value is considered as A bar dot B bar, which is equal to modulus of A modulus of B cos theta. So E vector into dA vector means E dA cos theta. So instead of E vector dA vector we have to write E dA cos theta. Therefore phi E is equal to integral of E dA cos theta plus integral of E dA cos theta plus integral of E dA cos theta for curved top and bottom surfaces. Here for the curved surface theta value we can write 0. For top and bottom surface theta value is 90 degree. So cos 0 means 1. Therefore this is we can change it as integral of EDA into 1 plus EDA cos 90 value is 0, and for the third one bottom surface cos 90 value is 0. Therefore phi is equal to integral of EDA plus 0 plus 0. Therefore phi is equal to integral of EDA, which is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. So this is a curved surface. By Gauss law we have to write it this value Q enclosed by epsilon naught. Now, in this charged wire, the length is L, which is equal to height, and lambda is the charge density. Therefore, Q enclosed value equal to lambda into L. Phi E is equal to E into integral of curved surface dA equal to lambda L divided by epsilon naught. And here the area of cylinder is 2 pi r h. H means it is L. Therefore, E into 2 pi r L equal to lambda L divided by epsilon naught. Both the sides the L is cancelled. Therefore, we can get E equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r, but in the vector form we can write it E vector equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r into r cap. Suppose this long charged wire, the electric field E depends upon only 1 by r value, but in the point charge E, electric field depends upon 1 by r square. Therefore, the electric field in long charged wire is always perpendicular to the direction of the wire. That is E, that is electric field is outwards, the lambda value is greater than 0, and the electric field is inverse, the lambda value is lesser than 0. Therefore, the E equal to lambda divided by 2 pi epsilon naught r. This formula is valid for infinite length of wire. Suppose the length is finite, means the formula approximately it is true around middle point of the wire from the top or from the bottom. Suppose if you take this is a wire, if it is finite value means the midpoint of E value we have to take. And next, the third application of Gauss law is electric field due to two parallel charged infinite sheets. Now we can take two sheets, one is positive, another one is negative. With the plus sigma is the charge density of the positive sheet and the negative sheet charge density is minus sigma. We can take 3 points P1, P2 and P3. Here in this side, first we can consider the positive electric field and a negative electric field. The positive electric field away from this charge and negative electric field is towards. And next here, positive electric field away from plus charge and negative is towards the minus charge. And here the positive charge is away from this and negative charge is towards. And next this first and then last charges which an electric field which are equal and opposite, therefore the E value is 0. Inside there are two electric field, so the electric field we have to write separately sigma by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Therefore we can get 2 sigma by 2 epsilon naught, so sigma by epsilon naught. Here we can take two observations, that is this electric field is uniform inside the parallel plates and it is directed from positive charge to negative charged plate. And next, fourth application is electric field due to uniformly charged spherical shell. Here we can take a charge plus Q. Around there is a spherical surface is there with the radius capital R. Now we can see the first case. Point P lies outside the spherical shell at a distance small r. Here small r is greater than capital R. Take a outer surface, spherical surface at the point P is here at the distance r from the center O, and take a small area dA, and here the electric field and normal vector are in the same direction, therefore theta value is 0. Therefore phi E is equal to close to integral of EdA. EdA we can write it as EdA cos theta. Theta value is 0. Therefore integral of EdA. E you take it out because it is a constant value. Therefore E integral of dA equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught according to the Gauss law. Now E integral of dA equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. dA value, spherical value 4 pi a r square equal to Q by epsilon naught. Therefore E equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, and E vector equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square into r cap. Here first observation here, Q is greater than 0, the electric field radially outwards, but Q is lesser than 0, it is the E value is radially inwards. And second observation, E will be same as if the charge Q concentrated at the center of the spherical shell. And next, second case is if the point P lies on the spherical shell. Lies on the spherical shell means R equal to capital R, therefore E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by capital R square, but in the vector form we can write it E vector equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by capital R square into small r cap. Here unit vector always we are denoted only by the smaller letters. Next, third point is third case is the point P lies inside the spherical shell, that is R is lesser than capital R, so phi E is equal to closed integral of EdA, and this is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught, and EdA is nothing but EdA cos theta equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. Cos theta value is here, that is theta value we are considered as a 0 value, therefore EdA equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. A value is 4 pi R square, but the Q value which is equal to 0, but because in the spherical shell inside the charge value is 0, therefore E value is 0. Suppose the point P lies inside means the total electric field equal to 0. So this is represented by one graphical method, and this is x axis, this is y axis. Here it is a center point E, and the spherical sphere is there, and at that cross section here intersection E value is 0, and this is the R value. When R value is increases and E value decreases, therefore R square increases means the E values decreases. So this is a representation of the graph.